Hello, welcome back to the Moran clan Rabbitry. Today we are building our third generation rabbit hutch. I've got me some hardware fabric here, and I've got some 2x4s, a bunch more supplies, and this crappy little rental car here. I don't want to talk about that. And in this bucket. We're not going to be using the bucket on this project, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. Anyway, so we have our very sophisticated drawings here. So we're going to be adding to these drawings. First thing first, our hardware fabric here. We gotta figure out how long it is. So we're dealing with 30 inches. This is the 1 inch by ½ inch hold hardware fabric. So this is what we're gonna be using for our base. So we're gonna add, we got 30 inches here, 1.5 inches for the width of our 2x4s here that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna minus out 1.5 inches, giving us 27.5 inches. 27.5. So we're going to cut two sections of our 2x4s at 27.5 inches long, and we're going to have our hutch is going to be a total, I think I'm going to make this one 6 feet long. Yeah, I'm going to go 6 feet long on this one.
Whenever you're using one of these, always wear your safety equipment. Now what? Ta-da! We've got our wood cut. Got a box of 3.5 inch deck screws, because 1.5 inches of it's going to get sunk into our 2x4, leaving 2 inches to secure into the other 2x4. Since we're screwing into the blunt end, it makes it the weaker end of the 2x4, so having that 2 inches in there is going to serve us better. Always pre-drill your holes before you screw them. 1, you don't want to split your wood. 2, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. Take your screw, you always match it up with the drill bit for your pilot hole. Alright, now that we've got our screws set in, I got them poking out just a little bit, so I'm going to take my side piece and I'm going to use this to mark up where I want to put a small pilot hole. Not very deep, pretty shallow, but just to get it started. There we go, a couple little divots. Again, you don't want to go too deep, you just want 3/4 of an inch at most, just to give it a starting point, because if your screws are crooked, it gives the wood a little bit of flex to compensate for it. It's important to try and get it square. Do your best. I didn't drill these pilot holes. Don't laugh at me.
Now that we've got a finished frame for our base, it's time to put our hardware fabric on it. Again, this is the 1 inch by ½ inch fabric, and it's kind of stiff. It takes a little bit to work it through.
I screwed up. Cut those 30 inches long instead of the 28.5 inches long. God, at least I screwed up right at the beginning. Shut up, I don't want to talk about it. This stuff's stiff. Like I said, this stuff's stiff. This stuff is. That other stuff, not so much. We'll get to that other stuff in a little bit. Alright, let's center it up. I'm using staples to secure this. 3/8 inch. Not too long, not too short. I've been using ½ inch. They seem to be a little too long. They don't like to go into the 2x4s very well. But these 3/8 are much better. Just eyeball it up. We're only going to put a couple staples in until we stretch it out and center it along the frame here. Continue enrolling. I thought I had 7 feet of this stuff. I'm a little short. I only have 5 feet of this, but I want 6 feet of frame. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split this in half. I'm going to splice in the middle a foot's worth of this 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch hardware fabric. And that's going to be the area in which the food is going to be anyway, so they won't be pooping there. I want them to poop through this big stuff, not this little stuff.
So I was going to splice in my 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch in with this 1 inch by 1/2 inch. Alright, in order to do so, get out of the way, we have these little clips. Alright, we use these little clips with this little tool. Crimps around, locks them in place, and fills it in. It's not going to be terribly pretty, but we're going to do the best we can. Now we need some legs. Time to go back to our very scientific drawing here. For legs, where are we? 3 feet tall for the legs, and for the front of the hutch, we're going to go 2 feet more. For the back end, we actually make this end about, we can go 4 inches shorter, so we have a nice slope, so the rain slope runs off the back end. So we need 2 boards that are 5 feet, 2 boards that are 4 feet, and 8 inches.
Yes, I would like you to hold my wood.
You gotta go back.
You're in my personal space.
That's making the cut.
No. No one's supposed to know that I can twerk.
Wife twerking makes the cut.
No, stop moving. Two sides, one base. Now we just need the back.
So as you're cutting this hardware fabric, I like to call it Satan's toilet paper, because as you're cutting this stuff, you end up with all these sharp edges. They will tear you up, so be careful.
Okay, so I got some 2x3s here. I was going to use 2x2s, this will actually be better. I'm going to cut them at 2 feet of length, matching what's sticking up in our front cage. So we got 3 feet height with 2 feet of height here for the cage itself. 2 of these, get them cut down, and on we go. I need power!
So I've got our verticals cut out, and these are 2 feet long. They're gonna go just about there. You're gonna stand up, and that's gonna be our center supports. I also have cut some 45-degree wedges here. I'm gonna go on in such a fashion, anchoring the verticals to the horizontals better than they will be by themselves. We've got our verticals for our dividing wall, but I've put in a 2.5 inch deck screw and a 3.5 inch deck screw because of that height difference, and they're going in at slight angles. Both end up right about here in this wood. It's the longest ones I've got, but that'll definitely be enough to hold it. What I've done now is I got 3.5 inch deck screw here at an angle, and a 3.5 inch deck screw here at an angle. That's holding that up quite nicely. Now I just have to do the other side. I'll get to that later.
Oh no, it's crooked! Alright, so this one goes on there. This this one goes on there, hanging down, dripping down into the, alright. And there we go. Little tab sticking out, attached to the front. This little tab here, going to slot down into a hole I made in the front here. That way I can anchor it right back behind here.
So now we've got the center divider in. So plywood, 1x4, 1x4. Screwed in 1x4 to the plywood, and staples holding the fabric to the wood. And then down here for this piece we've got 3 screws, 1 and then 1 and 2. The back side is, well, just the reverse.
I lost my tape measure. Where are my deck screws? And then repeat on the other side. Simple.